Welcome everybody, today I'm covering the build 42.7 update that just dropped. And as always, I've cut down the giant list into some of the most important things. Also, a huge thank you to everybody that subscribed. I'm now at 10k. And for those of you that are new, if you could hit subscribe, that would be amazing, as my one true goal is to hit 100k and get a beautiful YouTube play button before they shrink it again. Anyway, let's hop into the new additions. They added several new crafted clothing items. Players can use animal skins, leather strips, denim strips, rags, garbage bags, and tarps to craft a variety of low-tier survival, utility, and dignity-preserving garments. I have no dignity, so that doesn't apply to me. They also added items and recipes for spiked full motorcycle helmets and football shoulder pads. They added new clothing items to some appropriate zombie outfits, added a blacksmithing craft recipe to produce a hurricane lantern. There are new vans for tailoring businesses. They don't spawn loot yet, but they are intended to serve as an opportunity for the large fabric roll items to spawn. They added more flyers, added items and recipes for simple hide hats, robes and wallets, added mouse over highlighting to the building UI and crafting UI. The liquid amount bar now updates more gradually on fill context menus. Knockdown/stun Zeds now have chest movement so players can tell they're still active. They added a right-click drop option for all movables. Dragging items onto floor container inventory window also now functions like other containers. That's nice. They added items and recipes for hide and leather aprons and a tarp chest rig. Added prop book items. Added craft recipe and recipe magazine for making blank ID cards. This is purely an RP thing without any mechanics purpose. Burglars start the game knowing this recipe. Talking of RP and multiplayer, it really does seem that the devs are getting these updates out real quick. We're already on 42.7, so I would expect that we're not too far away from stable being released, and then we can finally play some multiplayer, which you can do on build 41. So, if you would like to play with your friends today, you can do so with Indifferent Broccoli, who provide a seamless server hosting experience that you can test out for 2 days completely free. And the best part, no credit card is required. Simply click on the link in the description or pinned comment, choose your region and player count, then launch your server and have fun. It really is that easy. But if you face any issues, Indifferent Broccoli provide 24/7 human support via Discord, so head on over and get set up. They added items and recipe for twined shoes, and there was a whole bunch of quality of life updates to farming when using a controller. There was like 7 different things there, so if you do play controller and you're interested, as always the patch notes are in the description. They added a craft recipe to make gold and silver coins from gold and silver metal sheets. Added a tuxedo print t-shirt, very fancy. They also added some new clothing items to some appropriate zombie outfits, and now steel chunks can be smelted from steel items, iron chunks can be smelted from iron items. Whether an item is iron or steel is arbitrary, but steel items are plentiful enough that there should be enough to smelt. Some higher tier blade type craft recipes specifically require steel and not iron. They added new sounds for chain link fence destruction, resting on floor and butchering. They restored the Dome Kiln workstation entity. This can be used to make coke from charcoal, as well as making charcoal. Coke can be used instead of charcoal for many crafts, and is also necessary for making steel out of iron. Now, if you're like me, you may not have known that coke is not just something you drink or inhale, but also a type of coal-based fuel, used mainly in iron ore smelting. Well, you learn something new every day. They added craft recipes for making steel chunks from iron objects and coke using an advanced furnace. Added some more recipes for burning wood charcoal using items of different sizes, allowing for limited mixed inputs using items of the same size. Added a new tailoring magazine, medieval peasant clothing, that is drip. Added a punk fashion magazine that teaches the garbage bag dress and tank top recipes. They added a mixing fluids action animation. They also added some game-changing new items, a toy hobby horse, and toy plastic colourful cowboy hat with attached plastic whistle. Wow. They added a button to toggle display of revealed brochure and flyer locations on the in-game map. That's cool. They added craft recipes for making small file sets and small metalworking punch and chisel sets. They added recipe for shortening shirt sleeves. And last but not least, gasoline now evaporates from open containers. So don't forget to screw those lids back on. Balance. Several tailoring recipes now require scissors to not be dull, and will also have a chance of reducing their sharpness. They reduce the frequency of corpses and trashed tiles scattered outside trashed buildings. Characters that start the game with the artisan trait, which grants levels in glassmaking and pottery, will know all current learnable glassmaking craft recipes. Raccoons can now be caught alive in traps. They rebalance several nail-spiked and broken weapons. Also a very light nerf to short bat weapons in general. They also rebalanced the blacksmithing craft recipes for heading tools, metalworking punches, smithing hammerheads and tongue to all require blacksmithing skill of 1 instead of 4. This allows characters who have grinded blacksmithing from 0 to 1 and have the recipes to produce the simplest blacksmithing tools for further crafting. And they changed the skill level requirement for forging nails from 3 to 1. Now those are some good changes. I know blacksmithing is meant to be like very endgame stuff, but being able to delve into it earlier will be nice. They reduced the weight of the sawblade hatchet and sawblade axe weapons. They rebalanced some blade type blacksmithing recipes. Several recipes for forging and cutting the various sizes of metal pieces used in blacksmithing have been consolidated to handle both iron and steel, as well as some other consolidation for halving items. These recipes, if involving a blacksmithing forge, will also provide a modest amount of blacksmithing XP. Several higher tier weapon and tool head crafts require steel, and the weapon or tool heads can be melted down for steel. They rebalanced some weapon and tool head crafts, reduced the weight of the hatchet weapon items from 2 to 1.5 as part of general axe balancing for crafting. Some items will now require the heads to be removed before they can be smelted down for iron and steel. Many more items can be smelted into iron or steel. Some of the items had their smelting properties adjusted. They restored crafts for making and using bar and ingot molds to cast iron and steel bars and ingots. The Groucho's house story will now spawn groups of Groucho eyeglass mask zombies wearing tuxedo print t-shirts instead of suits 50% of the time. And they added a young cowpoke zombie outfit for the Wild West town. It's a young outfit zombie that also wears a plastic colourful cowboy hat. Well, it seems like those were some good changes. I still haven't gone in deep with the blacksmithing yet, although I do plan on doing so in one of my runs on my second channel. If you haven't already, go hit subscribe. I've got loads of videos on the way. I've just took a little time off because I'm currently rebuilding / renovating my shed / studio. And you'll be able to see it on that channel and it's going to look amazing, honestly. But anyway, enough shameless self-promotion. On to the final section, fixes. As always, one that I've cut down massively. They fixed fences bending too quickly at high zombie numbers, and removed damage scaling by number of zombies. They fixed fences collapsing too quickly from climbing zombies. Damage is now 0 to 1 per climb event, reduced from 1 to 5. So I'm guessing that's for small fences? Because imagine they added climber zombies. That would be crazy to have as a variant. Like how they have sprinters. Imagine you could enable random climbers or sprinting climbers. That would make the game very interesting and terrifying. And if they don't add this, I hope someone can create a mod for that. That would actually be very cool. They fixed issues with craft recipe and build menu interactions using hammers and tool degradation. Fixed improper weapon model for the shorter stone-headed mace item. Fixed briefs that use crude patchwork texture until we implement further textures. Fixed toothbrush shiv recipe consuming tools. Fixed incorrectly calculating the health of carpentry objects based on skill level. Fixed several blacksmithing craft recipes not damaging tools used in the craft recipes. Fixed tooltip display issues in the building UI and crafting UI. Fixed picking up grills, barbecues, mannequins and old stoves with items inside. They also fixed pancake splats, double zombie flips, when knocked down, pushing or being crushed by metal fences. Fixed issues with removing propane tanks from grills, and issues with refilling a blowtorch. Fixed player not being able to walk to and shout or use emotes at the same time. For the newer players watching right now, walk to is actually a very valuable tool to use, especially when you're more confident in the game. It really is useful. They fixed players unable to vault low fences with controller button. Fixed animal radial menu working on butcher hook animals. Fixed error while driving past some locations. Fixed hungry animals walking through gates and doors. Fixed missing discomfort values on garbage, tarp and burlap clothing. Fixed some issues with animal zones in barns. Believe it or not, they also did some more fixes. They fixed an error when reading annotated map on controller. Fixed missing furniture pickup option for large corner wall shelves. Fixed players being unable to nail more than one sheet rope within a single tile. Fixed draining endurance much faster when character tries to open window while fast forwarding. They fixed rain collector UI rescaling and errors while farming on controller. They fixed some neon lights not humming. Fixed mouse traps floating at knee level. Fixed walk to planning paths over lit campfires. What a way to die that would be. You would not be a happy bunny. Fixed not being able to manually drink water from an item if the character has the well-fed noodle. Moodle. I'm hungry, so I read that as noodle and my brain went straight to ramen. They fixed the texture path for wedding veil and balaclavas on ground. Fixed being unable to interact with some bathtubs. Fixed welcome message always appearing, so it's now only shown once on a save. Yes, that's the best one in this whole video. So annoying, loading up every time and having to close fucking multiple windows. They fixed ranch zone stories not always spawning in right away, depending on the order chunks were loaded. Fixed missing head sack, chest rig and belly button jewelry ground models. They fixed 3D items possibly being displayed at the wrong size when two items share a model with different scales. Fixed zombie vision radius using minimum value instead of max for the penalty. So does that mean when it's foggy, zombies will see you more than they should have been? I guess we'll see. They fixed exploits with the magic carpet bridge. Now, I am unaware of any magic carpet bridges, but it does sound intriguing. Why did they fix it? That sounds amazing. And the final part is trigger chunk hot save when building, destroying, grabbing or placing objects in world, and trigger player inventory save after chunk hot saves complete to prevent duplication exploits caused by delay between chunk and player saves. I honestly don't understand when people do duplication glitches. Like, if you want to cheat, just go in debug mode and do it properly. Do it like a man. Although I want to talk, like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, when Minecraft first came out on Xbox, there was some diamond duplication glitch, and I rinsed that. So I guess I'm a bit of a hypocrite. But hey, I've changed. I'm a new man. Alright, I'm going to stop wasting your time by yapping as always. I hope you have an amazing day. Have some great fun on build 42.7. If you're a little bored, go binge some of my videos. I'll see you in the next one, and peace.